The kind of like dehumanizing thing that happens when people see people on the TV, on the phone.
Having an honest conversation with somebody, you are 10 times more likely to remember that. Because everyone out there just wants connection. I feel like that people are yearning for community right now. Me especially. I like to connect with people. So when people try to like write me off as not a real person, it's like felt very alone within my feelings. Growing up, I just expected the world to give you the same kindness that you give others. That's what you've been taught like growing up. And so I wasn't ready for what like the world had for me. Even like after having a mental breakdown, it's like, yeah, then that was something that I hid from everybody else because I didn't want everyone to know that I'm actually weak, you know, or fragile.
Yeah.
My new song, Fragile, I'm kind of talking about bringing it back to who I am, which is a fragile person and a human being. And just reminding people that I'm human and I'm just like you and we all kind of go through the same things.
Chase, welcome to The Squeeze.
Thank you guys for having me.
Ooh, Chase, Huddy, I'll probably like interchange them between the two. But I'm so excited to sit down and chat. I feel like I've obviously seen you on the internet for quite some time, but
Really?
I feel like over the past like year or so, you've really like transformed your social media. I feel like you are talking about your mental health and you're like really like being open and honest, which I think is like super awesome. So I'm excited to kind of dive into it today.
Oh my gosh, dude, me too. I think this whole process of where I've been trying to find myself on this journey of life, but also with music is how can I tell my story and how can I be more open with people and find a way to connect with everybody through it. And so now that I'm able to release some music that's kind of about it, I'm able to talk about it so much more openly.
That's so good.
I love it.
I love it. I'm excited for you. Okay, so we start each episode off with this jar. It's a game called Citrus Got Real. If you want to pull a little question, I know it's punny. If you want to pull a little piece of paper out of there and read us the question, whichever one you are feeling. Hopefully it's not like a makeup question.
I feel like going for the one on the top's not the vibe. Maybe I'll go with this one. Also on the top, but who cares? If you had a boat, what would you name it? Persephone.
It's like you had that prepared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why that name?
She's the goddess of the sirens and singing. And so she would be the mermaid that I would be looking for in the ocean.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a good, you really had that. Okay. So obviously we talked about how you're really just starting to open up through your music and your platform. And we're going to talk about that. But I love just like getting to know our guests a little bit more and kind of who like little Chase was growing up. What was growing up like for you?
Growing up for me was really interesting because I had a mix of like the people that like loved me and were also really jealous and hateful towards like me even growing up. Like I started social media when I was in middle school. And so from like the beginning of middle school, I kind of faced people being assholes to me. And I was always just like, I was like 5'2" when I was young. It took me until I was 15 before I even like hit a growth spurt or like dropped my voice. So I was dealing with stuff and being as short as possibly can be and like as tiny. And I was just like this bundle of joy that was so naive and everyone was twisted like from an early age. Yeah. And so I think like growing up, I just expected the world to give you the same kindness that you give others. That's what you've been taught, like growing up.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't ready for what like the world had for me, and like it tore me down, but also built me back up because it prepared me for what I could expect from LA. So even when I had things like that happen to me when I'm out here, I expected it a little bit more, and I knew what to do with it. But I think like growing up was cool for me because I was super heavily involved also in sports, and I always wanted to do something creative. And when I realized sports wasn't for me, that's when I really started to lean into like the arts. But it was something that was almost like shunned upon in my hometown. It wasn't like the cool thing to be a theater kid or to be in music class, right?
Yeah.
But now it is.
Yeah. I love it. I know. I love that we're like finally starting to have that shift. Mm-hmm. It's really awesome. Do you feel like you struggled with your mental health as a kid, like being bullied and whatnot?
For sure. Yeah, I got bullied from like 6th grade all the way up until sophomore year. I actually moved to online school as a sophomore so I could finish there.
Because of bullying?
Yeah, it just got really harsh for me in high school.
Oh, wow.
And it was a combination of starting to get a little bit of fame and a little bit of money. And like where I come from Stockton, which is like the second or maybe first like most dangerous city in California.
Yeah.
And so not only were people asking me like every day for shout outs, but then following it up for an insult. And then I had people like chasing me to class to try and steal my shoes, like things like that. People haven't experienced someone ever like even making the slightest bit of money. So if you wore like a $200 pair of shoes, like they would try to steal that shit from you.
Yeah.
And it was really weird, like kind of facing those kinds of problems because it isolated me, and I just kind of stuck with my friend group and was just like, I'm good with this.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of hid in the shadows in high school, and it made me like really sad. So what I would do is I would go and I would just put my head down and just listen to music in class and just like try to resolve my feelings with music.
Yeah.
But it made it worse for me because I was into like really sad stuff at the time. And so ultimately my parents were like, well, you're failing just about everything. We should probably take you out. And I found that I liked school a lot better when I was actually getting taught one-on-one. And with all the distractions, like growing up, I had like super heavy ADHD. And so it's hard for me to focus in school in general. So when I switched to online, I started acing my courses because I could actually focus on what they were trying to teach.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Right?
Cool that your parents like did that too, and for you to like realize that, because I have friends that kind of similarly like struggled in school, but if you have ADHD, it's the way school is structured. I mean, there is a lot of changes that are happening in schools now, but like when we were growing up, the way it is, like if you have ADHD or some type of like learning attention impairment, it can be really hard, and it's not that you're struggling with the material. It's actually just like, hey, like my brain can't focus right now.
Yeah, I could not focus on a test. I was usually like the last one to finish.
Yeah.
But it was just impossible for me to focus when I was a kid. And also, switching to online school was like a big thing that I was talking about for like the entirety of me being in high school. My parents didn't really want to because they're teachers. And so because they're teachers, they were like, no, you need to do it the right way. And
Yeah.
da, da, da. But they realized the stuff that I was going through and ultimately like made a decision that they knew would have been good for me.
Yeah. You said you were in middle school when like online started taking off?
Yeah, when I started doing social media. So like I really hadn't like gotten like too many followers, and TikTok really wasn't a big thing back then. It was actually like considered fucking cringe to absolutely everyone.
Yeah.
And so if they knew that I was doing it, they would just give me shit for it all the time. I would say like freshman year is when things started to go like really well, but I started taking it seriously like around like 8th grade. And so, yeah, I had to deal with all of that, especially like in middle school. Everyone cares more about popularity. I think by high school it starts to fade.
Yeah.
Like freshman year, you like care the most, and then you
Yeah.
start to care a little bit less throughout the years.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone ends up with like 3 friends by the end of senior year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I look back on high school and I feel the same way. Like, I feel like I knew in high school, I had like a lot of friends in the sense of like, I just knew everyone. Like, I was involved in so many different things. So I just like knew a bunch of people, but I really only hung out with like 3 people. Like, I really only had like a couple like close friends.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. Like, when you start to learn that you don't need to be everyone's friend, that you like just have your like little circle.
Yeah, it's important to have that as well, and to like know who actually like cares and will put in the time to you. Because like growing up, I thought being popular was cool, and then it came to high school, and I was like, oh, it actually just means nothing.
Yeah.
And especially once you get out of high school too, you're like, it's the most freeing thing ever, because you realize none of it matters, and you could have been like doing the things that you thought were cool but you were too afraid to do in high school as an adult. And so like that's been me. My entire adulthood has been me like trying all the things that I didn't try when I was a kid because I was afraid.
Looking back, like when social media started taking off, obviously a big thing that's talked about now is kids having social media at such a young age, and with someone like you that is in like the less than 1% that it actually like takes off for, the mental health that comes with that, because even grown adults deal with it. But when you are a kid and you're filtering all of these comments and all like this attention and this video did better than this, and these people are saying this, and false things are being said, or someone has an assumption about you that isn't true. How was that like filtering comments and like hateful things for you?
Well, at first it really messed with me, that people were saying things about me, and I mean, I got it all. I heard it all. I had people try to come at me from every angle they possibly could. And I mean, most of the things people have said about me aren't true. There's just, there's a million and one rumors that everyone likes to create, but also like the hatefulness in comment sections really like kind of sucks, because you're trying to put on your best self for the internet, and to like get taken back or kind of just derailed by the people that are like, oh wow, like your body looks this type of way, or you look this type of way, or your hair is ugly, the smallest things, and you're like, wait, really? Because you kind of second guess it, but you have to try to tune those things out in order to keep a level head, and that's like a really hard thing to do for most people. Yeah.
Do you feel like you have a healthy relationship with it now, or was there a point where you kind of had like a breaking point and needed to set a boundary with it?
I think the breaking point for me was trying to separate myself from giving too much of myself online, and that was really tough for me, because I've always been an emotional person, but when I started doing music, I was like, there's no point to like waste my time trying to like give the world like Chase the person, when I can kind of hide behind Huddy the persona.
Yeah.
And so with doing that, I ended up just kind of talking about my feelings through music. But I think from going through so much judgment online about my feelings, like that was my breaking point, was people going out of their way to make fun of me, like just trying to express my feelings, and then finding music as that like therapeutic outlet for me kind of solved all of those problems.
Yeah.
But now I feel like I can open up to people through the music, and that's become like a way for me to express myself again, which is cool.
I like what you said about like Chase the human and then like Huddy the persona. What is like the biggest difference between those two people for you?
Well, I mean, part of me likes to have fun and do all these things. Like I would say, there's a word called ambivert, which is an introverted extrovert. Like I can be super introverted, but I also want to be super extroverted, and I think that those two things are very separate. And in the way that I like to keep my peace, but I also like to get rowdy, and so I think that those different sides of my personality kind of fall into place with Huddy and Chase. Is I can be like this, but then I can go like perform a show and not sit still and just jump around and crowd surf or do something stupid. Like that's me at my like wildest moment, but I really like to have like a very calm, chill life. Like I spend most of my time with my dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The best. I know that reminds me of Tate McRae. Her like stage name she has for herself is Tatiana. Like when she's performing, she's like, that's Tatiana. And like her behind closed doors is Tate.
My drunk persona has been Huddy the Hurricane.
Huddy the Hurricane. Oh my gosh.
Or Hurricane Huddy, either one. But like, isn't that crazy? Like we all kind of have our own like drunk persona. If you think about it.
Yeah. We all need a little alter. I mean, especially if you're like performing, I feel like it is almost helpful. It's like acting. You're like switching into a character in a sense. Like it's still you, but like you're performing and you're having to put on a show. Like obviously it's not you.
Yeah. I mean, you're trying to convey the emotions behind the song. You're not telling them your whole life story.
Yeah.
So you're putting in that muscle memory of what that song meant to you into the song. In the same way, they're like, okay, right now, like say you're acting, like right now you need to go to the darkest, worst breakup you've ever had and insert that emotion into like this scene right now. That's the same thing that you kind of have to go through with music as well.
Yeah.
One of those things that definitely keeps a lot of us from going to the gym is really not knowing where to start with the equipment, or if our workouts are really even working us out and doing something to our bodies. Well, meet Tonal. Tonal is the ultimate strength training system that tracks your progress to take the guesswork out of working out, so you can have the confidence to keep pushing forward. Tonal provides the convenience of a full gym and the guidance of a personal trainer anytime at home with one sleek system. And there's no more second guessing your form. Tonal gives you real-time coaching cues to dial in your form and help you lift safely and effectively. After a quick assessment, Tonal sets the optimal weight for every move and adjusts in 1 pound increments as you get stronger so that you are always challenged. Tonal lets you choose from a variety of expert-led workouts, from strength to arrow hit to yoga, to keep you coming back for more. I have had my Tonal for a little over a year now, and I'm still just as obsessed with it as I was when I got it. It is really so cool how advanced this machine is, yet it is so user-friendly and so interactive. It's insane how they have made this machine, and if you are in the market for it, you guys need to check out Tonal because this machine will blow you away. And right now, Tonal is offering our listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with promo code SQUEEZE. That's tonal.com and use promo code SQUEEZE for $200 off your purchase. That's tonal.com, promo code SQUEEZE for $200 off. For the longest time, I thought feeding dogs real fresh food was a hoax. I really didn't think that you would be able to see the difference in them like all these advertisers said. But I switched both the girls to Ollie at the beginning of this year. And when I tell you I actually see the difference, I am shocked because I was not expecting to see such a major difference. If you haven't heard of Ollie, Ollie delivers clean, fresh nutrition in 5 delicious flavors that even the pickiest of eaters will love. It's made in U.S. kitchens with highest quality human-grade ingredients, and Ollie's food contains no fillers, no preservatives. It is just real food. Signing up is super easy. All you do is fill out Ollie's 30-second quiz, and they'll create a customized meal plan based on your pup's weight, activity level, and other health info. I've done this for both Remy and Lily, and they both are obsessed with food. And it's really cool to see the difference in Lily because she has just always been the pickiest of eaters. But now at mealtime, I don't have to coerce her anymore to try to eat her food. She is genuinely so excited to eat at every meal. Dogs deserve the best, and that means fresh, healthy food. Head to ollie.com/squeeze, tell them about your dog, and use code SQUEEZE to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a happiness guarantee on the first box, so if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's ollie.com/squeeze and enter code SQUEEZE to get 60% off your first box. I don't know about you guys, but when I think of electrolytes, I think of professional athletes, people that are going to the gym all the time, really like exerting themselves. But really, hydration and electrolytes are essential for everyone. Maybe you suffer from headaches, cramps, fatigue, brain fog, or weakness. That may be because you're deficient in your electrolytes. And that's why Element is here to save the day. Element is a zero-sugar electrolyte drink mix and sparkling electrolyte born from the growing body of research revealing that optimal health outcomes occur at sodium levels 2 to 3 times greater than the government recommendations. Each stick pack delivers a meaningful dose of electrolytes free of sugar, artificial colors, or other dodgy ingredients. Element is formulated for anyone on a mission to restore health through hydration and is perfectly suited for athletes, folks who are fasting, those on keto, low carb, whole food, paleo diets, moms on the run. Whatever it is, electrolytes are important. You can try Element totally risk-free. If you don't like it, they'll refund your order, no questions asked. Right now, Element is offering a free 8-count sample pack of their most popular drink mix flavors with any purchase. This is a great way to find out your favorite flavor of Element or share with a friend. Get yours at drinkelement.com/squeeze. This deal is only available through my link, so you must go to drinklmnt.com/squeeze.
I feel like I just saw this on social media, but did you just like film something or?
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell me about that? Or
So I just did my first feature film, How to Lose a Popularity Contest, with Sarah Way's class. We were shooting in Vancouver. I heard that's where a lot of films go down.
Yeah.
But yeah, we shot a really unique and cool rom-com that I feel like it's one of those 2000s hits mixed with like a little bit of like today's edge. It's just so cool. It's really well written. And I feel like I was playing a part of myself. Like when I read the role initially, I was like, it sounds so similar to who I am as a person and like my trajectory into like what I do today. Right?
Yeah.
Like, so I really enjoyed doing that. It was so just unique and strange for me to do that, because it was like, what am I doing with my life? Like it was so crazy, because I had only done one other thing in acting, and it took us 5 days to film that, but it took us like a month to do this. And so it took some training. Like you have to work out a bunch and you have to train with the coach and all these things. So I was like, wow, like this is next level.
were you like wanting to do that again, or how did it come to be?
Well, I expressed to my agents at CAA, when I signed with them, I was like, one of the things that I really want to dive into is acting, and it's like another one of those things where I'm just like, I don't really know how to get into this or where I could start, and so they just started me with doing like a bunch of auditions, and I feel like I got stronger through doing those auditions, and like I prepared myself for this moment, and when it finally happened, I was just really like relieved. I was like, wow, like I feel like I've been putting all this work and it finally got to pay off.
Yeah, that's so exciting. I feel like Sarah, I mean, I don't know her. I want to know her. Sarah, we'd love to have you on this podcast, just a side note. But she just seems like the best person to like be in a new environment. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
Something that, it's a new environment to you, having someone to kind of like act opposite of and just make you feel comfortable. She seems like she would be that person.
Oh my gosh, yes. She's so funny, and she's got some of the greatest stories like I've ever heard. And I mean, she's just so sweet, and she's also really goddamn talented at what she does. And like getting to see her and her watch me throughout this whole process, she was really just happy because we got to become friends throughout the whole process of this.
Yeah.
And still we're keeping in touch, like taking vacations together. Like they went and saw my show in Seattle. She flew
awesome.
out from Toronto to come and see it, which is like a 5-hour flight. Like the dedication that all of us have taken now to take initiative of keeping connected and staying friends. Like I feel like I'm gonna be friends with these people for years now because of just what a beautiful environment that we kind of created with this movie, and it was so much fun to work beside her. She was just a stellar actress.
I love that. That's so exciting. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
I do want to touch on this because you've kind of talked about like meeting fans and talking with fans and them like making comments like, I can't believe you're a real person. And the kind of like dehumanizing thing that happens when people see people on the TV, on the phone, just like they see these people and they see them in real life, and it is just dehumanizes you in a way. What's been your experience with that?
It's been really odd because I'll always see myself as like a very normal person, but a lot of the people in the public eye kind of see me as you know, this, I don't know, like personified kind of crazy person. I don't even know how the public really perceives me, because it's like you just live who you are, you know?
Yeah.
But seeing that happen in real life, like people coming up to me and telling me like, oh my God, I can't believe you're real. Like half the people I meet will just come up to me like, dude, 2 nights ago at Barney, some girl came up to me and threw a phone in my face, was like, oh, Huddy, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then she just posted online, and I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Like, this is the kind of thing. There's the person that will come out of their way to have a normal interaction with you, to actually try to figure you out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then there's the person that will come up to you and just blurt 5 words and walk away, not say thank you, like not even like acknowledge your existence, that you are a real person.
Yeah.
And I think every day, if you were to go into a scenario where you were having an honest conversation with somebody, you are 10 times more likely to remember that, because it's like, yes, that's what this is about. I want to connect with these people. I want them to ask me a question they've actually like wanted to ask somebody like me, or me specifically. I would rather them have that than something where, you know, it's just seems very fabricated and or like fake.
Yeah.
You know, because everyone out there just wants connection. I feel like that people are yearning for community right now, and me especially.
Yeah.
Like I like to connect with people. So when people try to like write me off as not a real person, it's like, even my new song Fragile, I'm kind of talking about the idea that like bringing it back to who I am, which is a fragile person and a human being, and just reminding people that I'm human and I'm just like you, and we all kind of go through the same things.
Okay, let's get into music.
Let's talk.
You kind of touched on music and music just being a part of your life growing up. Had you always like kind of wanted to explore, or when did you decide to like actually like take it seriously and pursue it?
The thing is I always wanted to, and I just didn't have the tools or the resources to do it. Like where I grew up, just didn't have an alternative music scene. I always wanted to make alternative music. And so when I made it out to LA, it was the first thing that I told my manager, because we were having the meeting, like, because she wanted to be my manager. So we were talking, and she's like, what's your 5-year plan? And I told her, I was like, so like, I like doing social media. It's cool, but like in the long run, I really wanted to be a musician. So if there's any way I could meet people in the space and kind of fill it out, that would be great, because it was all foreign to me.
Yeah.
So I'd never even seen what a studio looked like or how to write a song. But when I was a little kid, I always found an interest to writing songs.
Yeah.
I just never knew how to do it, and I never played guitar. So once I had like the tools and the resources, I started writing music with a label just because they wanted to see what could happen.
Yeah.
And then they fell in love with it and signed a record deal with me, which is really cool. But yeah, like it wasn't something, when I was a little kid, I was too shy to be a performer. I tried out for one talent show and I didn't even get an email back. They're like, you'll be hearing from us.
LOL.
You'll be hearing from us.
Yeah.
Totally like bombed it for sure. I sang In a World Like This by the Backstreet Boys. It was like their comeback single, and I was obsessed with it.
That's so good. It's funny. How are you on stage now?
I'm so comfortable. I've really started to get into it. The thing that's the hardest part about performing is finding what to talk about in between songs. Like I could perform all day, just get to the music part, but in between, I'm like, you guys are people. I hello.
Yeah.
What do I say? And then I'm just like, New Jersey, and they're like, yeah.
A lot of the times, songwriters will talk about how writing songs is really therapeutic for them, and it is like such a release. How has that creative process been for you?
Music sessions are therapy sessions. So you walk in there, they're like, what's been going on in your life? I'm like, oh, dude, I just went to Paris. No.
Yeah.
Tell me the dark shit right now. I need to hear the actual things that have been going on in your life. I'm like, well, there has been this one thing that happened recently. And that'll start the conversation of like really what you want to talk about within a song. And I mean, most music, if we look at it just on a broad scale, probably like 90% of it's sad.
Yeah.
And especially nowadays.
Yeah.
But Also with alternative music, like the best music you can make is heartbreak music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember my friend Matson told me, he's like, the being in love sucks because you can't write any great songs about it.
Yeah.
It's like, the hardest music to write is a song about being in love.
Yeah.
But it's been a huge release for me to talk about the things that have gone on in my life. I made this album all about telling the story of who I am and what I've gone through. Because my last album, my debut, was just about the relationships in my life and how it's all a process that I can kind of see coming because
Yeah.
I've been through the highs and the lows, and this is how it goes. And like that's the whole, album. But with this one, it's like this is who I am as a person and the things that I've really gone through outside of relationships.
Yeah.
And and like how it's formed me as a person today.
Is that like in the beginning, was that exciting for you? Was that scary for you being vulnerable? Like what made you actually be like, I'm comfortable to do this?
No, I think the more vulnerable you can get, the better the material that you can get. And I realized that after I wrote my biggest song called All the Things I Hate About You. And when I wrote that song, I was like, oh, so there's literally no limit to what you can write about in music. And it just kind of opened up this door of like, if I'm being more like, whether it's relatable or whether it's like honest with people, that is the thing that people are going to relate to the most and find something that they can relate to you on, is when you are telling them something that you've gone through that people can either interpret or have gone through very similar situations.
Yeah. That's been like my biggest thing with this podcast is the amount of people that have come up to me. It's actually really funny because Taylor mainly gets people coming up to him talking about the podcast now and like more than movies and stuff. And I think it just shows like, obviously he's a great actor and I'm obsessed with everything he's done, but like it just shows that relatability. Like it's a character he's playing, but when him and I sit down and, we're talking about what's going on in our marriage, it gives people kind of like something to relate to in a sense of like, not just a character, but actually like what someone is going through. And I think that's like been a big focus over the past couple of years with like how a lot of people, show their art or how they do their work, whatever it is. And what you said at the beginning, like we're all really needing community. That is like the biggest thing I preach, because that I think going through COVID and everyone being so isolated, it actually made us realize how important like having connections and relationships with people are and being able to relate to people.
Yeah, absolutely. Like COVID really brought everyone together, and I viewed it as a time where everyone got to focus in on something that they want to be their next life endeavor. Like they had enough time to think about what is the pivot for me in these next 5 years. For me, it was music, and it gave me the perfect outlet to find the time to make music. I mean, it's really cool that like you guys have gone out of your way and really put together this podcast and also made it about mental health, which is something I think more podcasts should be talking about. Because I think some of the stuff that you see nowadays, it feels like a lot of comedians and not a lot of realness going on right now. And so I think people should be talking about their feelings like as often as they can, It helps people through some dark times. Yeah.
And it's crazy because like for me, opening up about my feelings, I feel so much less scared. Like I would rather talk about my secrets than like film the inside of my house. Like it's this weird like catch-22 type thing. Like that feels like showing the inside of my home feels more private than like me actually sharing like what's going on in my brain, which I don't know if most people feel that, but I feel like with this career path that I've chosen, it helps because I'm just like, I'm going to talk about it. Also, I think just because so many people have like, when people come up to me and they're like, this podcast saved my life, I'm like, great. I actually need to keep like talking and keep like sharing things and being vulnerable, because that somehow is helpful. So I'm just, my goal is to keep chatting and hopefully it keeps doing well.
Oh, absolutely. You guys are going to crush.
Thank you.
When dinner time hits and your fridge is full of question marks, ButcherBox has your back. Skip the last minute supermarket sweep or impromptu chop challenge with whatever is left over in your fridge. ButcherBox delivers better meat right when you need it. ButcherBox delivers over 100 premium protein choices straight to your door, including 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, pork raised crate-free, and wild-caught seafood. For nearly a decade, ButcherBox has led the industry with meat and seafood that's antibiotic-free, hormone-free, and independently verified. So whether you're feeding a growing family or trying to eat clean without the stress, ButcherBox offers curated or fully customizable plans that fit your schedule and your preferences. I definitely try to keep a healthier diet, but I feel like I often find myself scrambling to figure out what we're going to eat for dinner. And it's so nice just having meats in our fridge and freezer. Right now, we have chicken thawing in the fridge, and we also have some steak in our freezer ready for us to eat in the next couple nights. Right now, ButcherBox is offering all new customers free bacon and ground beef in every box for the lifetime of your subscription, plus $100 off your first 6 boxes. You can go to butcherbox.com/squeeze to get this limited time offer and free shipping always. That's butcherbox.com/squeeze. Don't forget to use our link so they know that we sent you. This episode is brought to you by No CD. Have you ever had recurring unwanted thoughts pop into your head that you just couldn't shake? Maybe it's a concern about your health, a fear of something happening to a loved one, or a disturbing image that keeps replaying in your mind. Thoughts like these can feel uncontrollable and cause a lot of distress. And if you've ever dealt with them, you might have wanted the anxiety to just go away. So maybe you've tried whatever you could to get rid of it. But no matter what you did and how much time you spent on it, the thoughts remained all-consuming and the anxiety just kept coming back stronger. If you can relate, you're not alone. These could actually be signs of obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD. But it's common for people to overlook them or dismiss them as general anxiety because they think OCD is just about organizing or hand washing. That's a major misconception. The truth is, OCD can latch onto anything that matters to you, and whatever it affects, it's serious. But with the right kind of therapy, it's also highly treatable. OCD needs specialized therapy though, because other forms of therapy aren't typically effective, even ones like talk therapy. That's where No CD comes in. No CD is a virtual therapy provider for OCD that makes getting specialized therapy easier than ever. They have licensed therapists trained in exposure and response prevention or ERP therapy who can help you take the power away from OCD in live face-to-face video therapy sessions. No CD accepts many major insurance plans and offers always-on support between sessions. To learn more about therapy with No CD, go to nocd.com and schedule a free 15-minute call with their team. That's nocd.com to learn more and book a free 15-minute call.
Okay, let's dive into your new single, Fragile. You touched on it a little bit, but I'd love for our Lemon Drops, that's our listeners, that's their name, to hear a little bit more about where the idea of the song came from, because you kind of touched on it. It is like very honest and vulnerable.
Well, the day that I wrote Fragile, it was like raining outside and I was going through a really tough time, feeling like I couldn't open up to people about my feelings. I felt very alone within my feelings, and I felt like I couldn't tell my friends like the things that I was going through. It felt like it was getting to a tougher point to talk to my parents about it, and I was even kind of avoiding like telling my therapist certain things. And same with the relationship that I was in prior. I just came to a point where I wouldn't even tell her the kind of darkness going on inside my head, because I viewed being vulnerable as like weakness in that time, and that's just completely not true. And I think going through the process of writing this song was just bringing that idea back to life, that we are all emotional beings at the end of the day, whether we like to be or not. Whether it's some guy out there that thinks he's an alpha male, like at the end of the day, like they'll let anger and frustration kind of take over their brain instead of sadness and hopelessness and despair, because people try to find fixes all the time, but really like finding like peace within like your own tension in your life is what, you know, helps you get through those things. You can't just work your way around it, and I think you definitely can't bottle it up either.
Yeah.
So like the point of the song was really to just kind of talk about how I would keep it all in, and how that was just slowly beating me up and making me feel like deteriorated, just pulling me down. So for a while, like that was kind of the dilemma that I was going through, and writing the song kind of helped me through that dilemma, because I wasn't able to find an understanding for it until I wrote it, and now it's just a constant reminder to me and to everyone else that it's okay to feel and go through things. And the other thing is like, right, like you have to put on a happy face even though you are staying busy. Like I had a really bad mental breakdown in Nashville while I was on tour. I had a week left to tour, but it felt like that week for me was super shitty because I played some shows that I felt like weren't my best, and sometimes in like the middle of America, like the crowds, like they don't go as hard as some of the places on the East Coast or the West Coast, and I just didn't feel the love like for a few nights straight, and that's not even to say that they didn't love the performance or whatever. It's just the idea that I'm this like perfectionist that wants to make sure everything goes smooth or according to plan, and not feeling like I was getting there. And so I got off stage and I was kind of bummed about it, but then I watched my friends go out and also play, and they kicked ass and everyone loved them. And I was like, why do I feel like they didn't like me?
Yeah.
And so I started having this like deep conversation with the band I was touring with, Beauty School Dropout, the guitarist's dad. He was talking to me about how you have to keep putting on these shows because this is what makes everything worth it once you've really sold out like a huge room, and you start to really get there for yourself. Like that's when things will start to make sense, because you got to go through like the tough shows to have the amazing shows like down the line. And so also dealing with that while you have zero privacy on tour was really tough, because then I ran out of there like a little girl, and I was crying in front of 50 people. Also, I had no friends in Nashville, and we were touring with a bunch of people that just have so many friends in Nashville. I was like, no one, like I don't know anyone in any of these cities I'm touring in. Like, so I was beating myself up about all of those things all at once. And then I had things going on with work, and you can't hide from that. And if you have no one to talk to about it, then it just kind of just drives you a little crazy. I feel like the only person I could talk to about it was my parents, which was very helpful, honestly. But even like after having a mental breakdown, it's like, then that was something that I hid from everybody else, because I didn't want everyone to know that I'm actually weak, or fragile.
Yeah. Very punny. Very
Very
punny.
punny.
What's the biggest thing you hope people take away from the song?
I hope people can just look at the song, whether it's a song that makes them feel or feel seen. I want people to look at any of the songs that I'm releasing and not just say, oh, that was a good song, but kind of be able to take something away from it. Because I try to like write these songs as like baby stories. Yeah. And almost like a scene in the movie where I guess with Fragile is like one of those like breakup scenes, like the sad turning point where they're, this summer I turned pretty, like when they have that.
Don't get me started on that one.
The recent episode where.
Don't get me started on that.
Where Conrad was on the beach confessing his love, and she just breaks his heart.
Yep.
That's what Fragile is meant to be. It's cinema.
I've just filmed an episode with my girlfriends, and we literally talked about Summer I Turned Pretty the entire time. I completely understand and can see that song playing in that moment completely. Right. We talked about earlier, kind of like this Chase Huddy thing. Right. What has it been like for you to learn like who your authentic self is, and just really being like where you're at in life?
I think the authentic side comes from doing what's natural to you. Like, I think if you're trying to be somebody else, it's harder for you. If you don't dress like yourself, you don't feel like yourself. If you don't look back at a conversation and say, oh, I said everything in that conversation that I would normally say to another stranger, then you're not being authentic to yourself.
Yeah.
I especially see that within music. I will never release something that I feel like my heart's not fully in.
Yeah.
And I think authenticity just comes from doing what you want to do with your life, and not because you want validation or somebody to say you look cool. You know, like, you will attract the people that you need or want in your life by being who you are. You know, I learned that in high school because I went from feeling like I was trying to fit in to starting to wear shirts with Justin Bieber's face on it in sophomore year.
Yeah.
And then that was like that turning point where I was like, I don't really care. They're like, oh, that's so lame, dude. You're wearing Justin Bieber. I'm just like, hell yeah. And I love it.
Yeah.
You know? And that attracted like my friends that were also into to Justin Bieber at the time. They were like, it's so sick. I'm going to get that shirt too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they did.
Okay. That's something that I'm really thankful for. For some reason, I was just always very content with myself, like who I was. I think that's also because I'm an only child, and my mom like just like hyped me up all the time.
No
so
way. What was that like?
being an only child,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was it very quiet? Were your parents like home all the time?
I mean, I guess it was quiet at some points, but more so like because I'm the only. Even like my cousins, I'm the only one that's like my age. So my cousins are
get
either
out.
like 10 years older or 10 years younger. So I think it made me mature fast, which I think is also why high school like wasn't like in the sense of knowing who I wasn't as hard, because I kind of already like had it figured out in a degree. But I mean, I was also like at daycare all the time because both my parents worked, and then I in high school and junior high I danced. So I was always at dance.
Oh, that's sweet. My grandpa was or my grandma was a daycare girl, and my other grandpa, he was like an art teacher. So like they like the little dynamic. But I always had like cousins in my same age bracket, so it was nice for me. I feel like you'd have to like, I don't know. It's so weird to grow up around people that are so much older than you. I feel like because well, one I realized though, like when I became an adult, I was like, I like people that are 10 years older than me because they have like advice that I can really take, and I actually want to like listen to them. Like the people my age, like we have the stupidest conversations ever.
For
but
sure.
you know, it's what being young's about. But I think like I owe a lot of my childhood to my two sisters. Like the second I walked into middle school, she's like, you're not walking in like that, and your hair's definitely not going to look like that. And I was like, okay, what should it look like? And so my sister did my hair on the first day of middle school, and I stuck to this dress code that she got me, which was flannels, blue jeans, and Converse. And that was my like uniform for a long time. And then my oldest sister, I credit my music taste to her. And actually a little bit my other older sister as well, because she put me onto One Direction, which was life-changing for me, because then I could wrap my head around, it was the first time I could wrap my head around what being famous was.
Yeah.
And it really was like, I watched the One Direction movie because my sister dragged me and her best friend's other brother. And so the four of us went and watched the movie, and it just changed my perspective on music as a whole. Because the only country like concerts that I'd ever been to, because my parents would drag me to country concerts when I was younger, and so I was like, this is cool, but people just want to like dance. They don't really like care. They're just here to drink beer and have fun. Yeah, you know. But that's not what any of the other genres are like especially their concerts. Yeah, you know.
How many sisters do you have?
2.
And they're both older. Mm-hmm. Are you still close with them? Or
yeah, super close. My other sister, she came to one of my shows. She lives in DC with her boyfriend now. Oh, cool. And my oldest sister, she's married, and she's got 2 of the cutest cats ever. But yeah, no, I'm very close with all of them, and I feel like if I were to call them right now, it'd be like we even if you haven't spoken in months, it would just pick up right where it left off.
Yeah, that's great. I want to talk about relationships for a moment because you kind of touched on it.
Talk to me.
specifically breakups, but both romantic and friendships, because friendship breakups, I actually feel sometimes can even be harder than romantic breakups, especially
Yeah.
if you've been friends with someone for so long. You've obviously been through both scenarios of it.
Right.
What have you learned about healing and moving forward after the ending of a friendship or of a relationship?
I think you have to study the 5 stages of grief and see how you can relate them to letting go of people in your life. Like, I would say that losing a friend is like a slow burn, and it happens slowly over time. Like, you try to stay in touch, but you can feel the distance kind of happening, and you still try to hold on to what's there. But then you have to skip through the 5 steps of grief and make it to acceptance. And once you're able to do that, you can find peace in it, because if you can learn that the people in your life are meant to be in your life, and if they aren't going to put in the effort, they might not be meant to be in your life.
Yeah.
You know, even if you've been friends with them for 6 years, like learning to let go of the idea of who you guys were in the beginning of that friendship, you know, whenever it was at its peak. I think it's the same thing that you kind of look at in the slow burn of a relationship fading away. You look at them, how you first met them, but you also see the good, bad, and the ugly. When you look at a relationship, you have to look at it in the present time. You know, you can't look at it as like what it used to be, because what is it right now? Like, my friends aren't calling me. I have friends I've been friends with for like 7 years. I consider like my closest friends. Don't call me. Don't text me. Nothing. And so I think when things get that stale, you have to recognize that and accept it. And with a relationship, I mean, you're always trying to hold on to the good that might be left in it. And for me, I'm a peacemaker and I'm a fixer. Like, I want to make sure that the relationship still has its foundation, that it's good, it feels fresh and fun, and that, you know, you guys are both equally having a great time. But I think you also have to look at it for what it is, because for me, I hold on to the idea of like what it was in the beginning, and I'm always trying to like get it back to like that square one point of like why we're in this in the first place. But I think the negativity can outweigh that positivity, and when things get really rough like that, like, you have to look at things for face value. You know, when you're in an argument, you have to take them for their word, and especially if they don't apologize. But if they do, you know, then, you know, all right, you're fine. But like, you know, take that as like, also like, this is the argument I'm going to be having for the rest of my life with this person. You know, if they really hurt my feelings now, imagine what they would do 10 years later down the line. And I think there's such a delicacy with things like disagreements. Like, you have to treat your other half like they're your fucking baby, you know, in a sense. Like, if you go too hard on them, that it's going to be something that's hard for them to erase from their mind. If you're someone that yells or says things out of pocket, you have to learn how to correct those mistakes. And sometimes it's hard to acknowledge those post-argument too, that you do things like that. But I think it's something, if you guys want to like keep a healthy relationship, you have to acknowledge all those things.
Yeah, it's so true. And like, going into, like, if you genuinely care about the person, going into an argument or a disagreement, like, not trying to make like jabs at them because you know it'll hurt them. Like, going at it like, hey, I'm upset and I'm going to voice I'm upset, but like, I want you to hear me, and I want you, like, I'm not going to like make a dig at you just because I'm upset. Like, I'm actually going to just express to you how I'm feeling. That is like super important.
I would fall to my knees and start crying if a girl treated me that nice.
I mean, it's easier said than done, but I also think like Taylor and I being together for as long as we have, like, he's very direct when he's upset, and he'll like voice it. And I am like, I'm better now, but I grew up being the least confrontational person ever. Like,
Same.
We didn't talk about problems in my family. Like,
Yep.
Talking wasn't like a thing like that. So when Taylor and I first started dating, I was like, I would get like freaked out, like not in like I'm gonna run away, but like scared, like he was like being aggressive. Not aggressive. Aggressive's not the right word. But he was just like being so direct with me, and I was like, "What is going on? Like, the world is ending. All of the alarm bells
Yeah.
are sounding. Like we're breaking up. He doesn't love me anymore." But in actuality, he's literally like he's fine. He was just hurt by something I did, and he's asking me what my intention was behind it and whatever it is. But learning that is how Taylor reacts, and then him having to learn that I like don't speak and like go mute for like a couple hours, and then I'm like able to process what's going on.
Yeah.
We both have really had to learn that. So I think if you're like in a relationship, like really trying to learn how the other person communicates, it takes time, obviously, but
That blew my mind because I'm very similar in situations like that where sometimes I will go mute because I don't really know like how to solve a situation in the moment, and then like a lot of the times, like, you know, you get in more trouble by being mute, but it's like, no, I really need to wrap my head around like what you're trying to say and come back with like something that I can you know, figure out or change about myself. You know, like if there's something wrong, I always want to see it for what it is and try to make the adjustments how I can.
Yeah.
But I like to deal with things in a very comfortable manner. You know, I don't like arguing. I hate confrontation more than anything, because I think that the other thing that really sucks is if you were to get in an argument with somebody, say it were to be 2-3 hours, you're not going to get anywhere until you can sit down and start to talk to them like they're your partner. You know, if you're yelling at each other, you're never going to resolve anything until you have the peaceful conversation afterwards.
Yeah.
That's when I've solved every single thing.
That's why I feel like sometimes me being mute, I'll tease Taylor. I'm like, it's actually helpful because we're not having a heated argument. You have time to simmer down, and I'm actually have time to like compute what I'm saying, and then we can have a productive conversation.
Exactly.
Instead of just like going back and forth for a very long time.
Yeah.
Because that's not productive.
No, not at all.
At all. Looking back at your past relationships, what has it taught you about yourself?
I think to be patient and kind, and to really, you know, cherish every moment of a relationship. You know, I think you have a lot of happy life lessons that you learn from a relationship, and I think you have a lot of tricky like life lessons you have to learn with a relationship, especially like kind of getting out one at first. It's a tricky path that, you know, you're never prepared for it, actually. Like it's not something that you ever really want. That's always the hard part, is getting out of a relationship and returning life to normal and figuring out life by yourself. But I've really learned how to come into my own person and to just be a lot more independent, because I've lived with my friends my whole life.
Yeah.
And after I lived with my friends, I lived with my ex for 2 years. And so I still had somebody to live with, to like have a shoulder to cry on, and somebody to take on life with. But now living alone has taught me a lot about myself and what I want to do and what I want to prioritize, and how I can take charge of everything going on in my life. But I mean, I've learned from those relationships to really it taught me how to understand a girl in a relationship, and how to treat a girl, and how to you know, diligently handle a relationship. And that was something that, like, when I grew up, I felt like I always had these like fake relationships that were never really a thing. They would like last like a month, you know, the high school BS. But then like out here, like I've been in love twice, and each time that I've been in love, I've learned something really valuable. It's a good thing.
Yeah. I'm excited for this like next chapter for you, because I think community is important, but I think having some alone time could be like not beneficial, but helpful, because my girlfriend recently, she was in a relationship for 8 years, and they separated, and she was like, this is the first time I've ever like had to think about like, I get to decide what I want to eat for dinner or like what I want to watch. Like just
Oh my
like
God.
being like autonomous in a sense.
Yeah.
I think it's important for especially people like us who like to be around people and, you know, always need that. Like it's important for us to like learn that we can do it on our own so that it's not other people that we're relying on. It's us.
Yeah. I think I've like kind of with the conversation we were having right before, I'm more of a codependent kind of guy.
Yeah.
So to become super independent has just like helped me be miles ahead of the curve for myself. I feel like I'm learning myself at such a rapid pace that it's something that I feel like I definitely wasn't focusing on expressing when I was, you know, in a relationship. I ignored like my love for like video games or certain old movies that I like to watch 47 times.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, like old TV shows, like I got back into anime and all these little things that I like to do. Like one of my favorite dishes to cook's a fettuccine alfredo. So that like, that's one of those things that like I hadn't cooked that in fucking 4 years, you know, like something like that, you know, where you just go back to either what you know or what you haven't tried out, and you're able to find yourself in the mix and refigure yourself out.
Yeah. Okay. Last couple questions for you. I'd love to know what you're most proud of yourself for.
I'm most proud of myself for never quitting. I think quitting is when everyone that's been rooting against you in your life finally wins. And I mean, people have always tried to kind of knock me down or discredit me for what I've done in my life. And for me to do all of these things that I do, I juggle a lot of things all at the same time. Like, yeah, being a musician's like 100% where my heart is, but then going and trying acting and feeling like I'm doing a great job there. And also been modeling for 6 years and feeling like I'm doing a good job there. Like, I feel like if I'm continuing to put myself in the places that I really care about and do things like that authentically, without giving up, like that's something I can say I'm super proud of for myself doing at the end of the day. Because when I was younger, I doubted myself on doing any of these things.
Yeah.
So like growing it up and starting to do all the things that I thought were so cool when I was a kid is something that I feel like I'll hold on to and cherish, you know. I'll be able to look back when I'm older and say I'm proud of myself for the career that I have put on. Like, I would never change anything that I've done throughout my career.
I love that. Okay, last question for you is, if you can go back to one moment in your life, what would that be and what would you tell yourself?
If I were to go back to one moment in my life, it would be like right before I moved out to LA. And it would just be kind of a reminder to not be so hard on yourself and to just trust that one day it's all going to work out, and that I'll be going through all of these really crazy trials and tribulations to let them know, like, you've got a crazy ride ahead of you, but it's going to make you a better person. And you got to know that while you're going through the weeds, that you're going to make it out a stronger person.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thanks for coming and chatting with me today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We'll leave a link down below for people to go check out your single, but I'm excited for you and all that life has for you to come.
Thank you. As to you.